let's jump right into it, Tyler.
Sure.
So you're an actor, stand-up comedian, and viral content creator based in New York City. So my first question, and the one I've been itching to ask you, is how did you start as a stand-up comedian? Was it open mic night? Was it a bet from a friend who thought you're incredibly funny and wanted to see you try this out as an open mic? How did you start as a comedian?
It was a combination of a few of those things. I was actually in a play in college. I started doing theater in college, and I was playing George W. Bush, in a play called Stuff Happens. It was I think it was a Broadway show in England, and it came to the U.S. And a friend of mine, I mean, George Bush is a funny guy. I don't think he knows he is, but um, a friend of mine saw me in the play, and he goes, "Hey, I had do a stand-up comedy show in the cafeteria at our college. You're gonna do 5 minutes next Tuesday." He goes, "You have to do stand-up," and I was just mortified. I was up for like a week writing jokes, and threw myself up there. It was an absolute train wreck. People probably walked out. A couple people probably started crying. You just have no idea what the hell you're doing in the beginning. And then one of the next times I did it, a friend, I was on a plane to Los Angeles, and it was delayed like an hour on the tarmac. And a friend goes, um, he made a bet. I don't know how much money. He said, go get up and do stand up for everybody on the plane. So I stood up and I went and did like a few minutes. And here I am today, 15 years later.
So I apologize if I got these backwards then. Is your first love, your first passion, was it the stage? Was it acting? Did that come first?
Yeah, I was actually failing out of high school, and I needed an A, so I took an acting class because I was friends with the acting teacher. We
Perfect.
would we would drink together. We'd hang out, and smoke, and these are public schools in Connecticut. They're not the best, highest tier schools. And so I thought, all right, well, I could blackmail this guy, get him fired for drinking with a 17-year-old student. So he'll give me an A. So I did an acting class in high school, and went up and did an improvised scene. People started laughing. So it was kind of a combination. It was staged, but also I thought, oh, people are laughing at me. Some of these cute girls that, won't even talk to me are now laughing at me. So it was a combination of theater and just making people laugh. So
I love how this started, making cute girls laugh. And then we have some bets on a plane to do some
yeah,
stand-up stuff.
and not failing out of high school. So
All important things.
the stakes were high, man.
They were high, and it's paid off for you, Tyler. You have over 50 million views of your pranks and sketches on YouTube. You've been on America's Got Talent. What's this wild ride been like for you?
It's going to be a wild ride no matter what if you pursue anything in the arts. It's highly competitive. There aren't a lot of high-paying jobs compared to how many people are pursuing it. So you have to love it regardless. You have to make that your priority. It's just you have no other choice but to do it. But what's interesting, since I started pursuing all this, a lot has changed in the entertainment business. The streaming services came in. So I used to go to Los Angeles every year for what's called pilot season. All the new TV pilots, you go and you audition, you hope you get a role, and then you hope the TV show gets picked up, and then boom, you're in the cast of Friends or Seinfeld or whatever. That stopped because streaming services can start a show any day of the week, any month of the year. So you've got that changing sort of platform with, I suppose, no other way to put it than the woke ideology, where now, rather than talent, oftentimes it's we want to fill these roles. We want to, as the producer or the studio, we want a virtue signal that we can check every box. And they started to get vocal about that. And so I started to lose auditions, jobs, agents explicitly because, hey, not the best time for white guys. We're not hiring white guys. I've been hired for jobs and then fired because they said, yeah, it's going to be a better look if we have someone who doesn't look like you. So it's been wild, and all of that really forced me to double down on making my own content and really going for building a following. And so and then a lot of my videos get taken down or shadow banned because I made fun of Fauci and I make fun of everything. So it's definitely been confusing, but I feel like I see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel here for at least a week or two.
There's a bunch of off ramps to that I want to jump on. The first, I was a teacher for 17 years. And over the past year, well, during the pandemic, shockingly, because I had more time to create my video content on YouTube, to create my podcast, my audience has just flourished. What do you love about being a content creator on YouTube? How does it help you as a comedian? How does it help you grow your audience? How has YouTube been just a great thing for your creativity and for growing your audience?
Yeah, it has been positive. I mean, I was stuck at 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I just couldn't figure it out. I had viral videos go crazy viral. But I suppose I just wasn't putting enough up there. I wasn't doing enough. So yeah, once I was locked in my apartment and it's all right, I'm just going to go for it. I'm not able to get work the traditional way in Hollywood. I don't want to be resentful about it. So let's just put all this into, I started a podcast, and that was great because it was sort of a free form solo podcast where I would talk out ideas and test out jokes. And that was helpful because I'm used to being in front of a crowd. And this time I wasn't dependent on audience reaction. So if a joke starts to go south, you can either go down with it or jump ship. So it helped me really start to find my voice and figure out, what do I actually think without depending on needing a laugh at every single point that I'm making. So I developed, I think, just as a person from that. And then being able to get better at writing, editing. There's so much to do nowadays. If you're a comedian, an actor, a podcaster, you could do a million things. So this forced me to every morning sit down, write for 30 minutes or an hour, film, edit every day. And I feel like it became an actual job. That was sort of the most beneficial part of it. Was, okay, now I've got a structure in place. So if another pandemic happens or I get fired again or whatever it is, I've got my thing in place and there's no excuse.
I was reading in a New York Post about the struggles you've been having. And then I love the story about how you got hired for one of your bigger roles today, I believe, on Terror on the Prairie. So I haven't watched the movie yet. It's on my to-do list, but I'm very excited to watch you and Gina in this movie. Can you tell my listeners and people watching on YouTube the story about how you got hired to be an actor in this movie?
Sure, yeah. Well, why don't you go watch it? We'll come back in an hour, okay? We'll see you in an hour. I think it's longer than that. Yeah, that was a wild thing that happened. So the story's in the post, but essentially a manager who wanted to work with me inevitably said, we're no longer hiring white men. I'm currently suing them, taking them to the Supreme Court in New York City. The whole thing is recorded. I got the whole thing on tape. And that was I think the second, maybe third time that had happened with a major agent or manager. So I kind of gave up. I gave up on the Hollywood movie career, which I was getting closer to by the year, getting TV roles and stuff. So I just said, screw it. I'm killing that dream. We're making content. I'll make my own movies someday. I'll do what Woody Allen did, minus, sleeping with a 17-year-old.
Good call.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm a big fan of his career. And so yeah, my following blew up as I started, and it was a combination of being more consistent, putting out more content, but also just kind of saying what was happening to me and what I was seeing happen in the country and to the entertainment business. And I didn't know what the response would be. I mean, I kind of took a risk. It was terrifying to say what I really thought, and to even say, "Hey, I just got fired for being white." Because some people will attack you for even, looking for compassion for that, or even just expressing it. So, Bonfire Legend, the production company that made Terror on the Prairie, his Dallas is his name. His wife just showed him one of my videos, and then he started watching all my videos, started sharing them. I thought, this is just some crazy guy. He shared every video, and he sent me a message, and I said, I'll just tell this guy thanks, get him off my back. And we start chatting. And again, I don't, it's Bonfire Legend is I didn't know it was a production company. I thought it was some kind of, I don't know, alt-right extremist group or something. And yeah, to say goodbye, and he goes, wait. He goes, this is going to sound crazy. Do you want to audition for the new Gina Carano film? And I was like, what? I said, okay. I still wasn't sure if he was serious. And I said, here's my email. He sends me the script. I didn't even have time to read it. I put an audition on tape. The next day I get a call. They made me an offer. And a few days later, I'm in Montana shooting Gina Carano on a horse.
Perfect.
Which had nothing to do with the movie. That's just what me and her do for fun. But
what else did you do in Montana?
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Well, thank you for your time today. It was great to connect and hear some of your story and share that with my listeners. And I wish you all the best.
I've got some shows coming up. I'm doing a show in Texas, in Austin, Texas on June 24th. Then I'll be at the Beacon Theater in New York City the 25th, and then Nashville on the 28th. And all tickets are at tylerfischer.com.